Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Debsy, and place to be, it's Debsy. Bloop, bloop, that's me. Boop, Debsy. Hey guys, and it's Thursday. Woo, it's Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday, and it's gonna be payday. Ooh, yeah. Okay, I'm not here just for that, but I did enjoy doing that. Let's do it again. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. Got that all out of my situation, out of my system. So last night I watched the first part of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. It's going to be 3 parts. I feel like it doesn't even have to be 3 parts because last night wasn't it wasn't much of anything. There were a few things that I found interesting. So we are going to go over them right now. Okay, so beforehand, they showed everybody getting dressed. And listen, 8.5 said that this was the hardest year for her. And I immediately was like, listen, don't blame it on the show for it being the hardest year of your life. I immediately thought of the accusations against her husband coming out. Listen, I am not a fan of 8.5 at all. However, they did get into it a little bit later on. Her mother had passed away. And that's sad. I'm not a fan of hers, but you really, she would never see this video. Nor I don't know that I would want her to, but my prayers and condolences go out to her and her family. That's a very difficult situation, and having to be on TV and living your life out in the public and then having to deal with that, plus these accusations against your husband, it can't be great. But let's move on. So Dorit and Erica are talking. Dorit gets this very lengthy text message from Kyle. It's very long, and it is like the day before the reunion. And rightfully so, Dorit is feeling like Kyle's trying to manipulate her a little bit. And it's kind of, she's looking at it as like a shut the fuck up text, like something to try and muzzle her or try to shut her up. Odd that they hadn't talked for like months, but then right before the reunion, Kyle sends something saying, hey, let's get together and talk about this. So the ladies all come out, they're sitting down, and I'm going to tell you, I need to be camera crew on one of these things, because the first thing that I would have shot to and looked at was exactly what they went to. That was Kyle's ring finger. She didn't have a ring on. So there we go. Okay, so first up, it was Kyle and Dorit's friendship. Okay, so Kyle says they haven't really talked for months, and Kyle was pissed. Well, we find later on, Kyle started to get pissed last year after the reunion because she feels that Dorit took Kathy's side more than her side. But she said that she most recently had gotten pissed about this season, how she had brought up the possibility that there could be some problems in her marriage, in the marriage between Kyle and Mauricio. Remember, it was near the beginning of the season. They were in the car, and Dorit had asked something like, is everything okay? What's going on? Is anything going on between you and Mo? And Kyle just sort of buttoned up. She really didn't say anything. The other thing she was upset about with Dorit was when she was on, when Dorit was on Watch What Happens Live, and the topic of Morgan came up, and she had made some sort of comment. I don't even remember what it was, but she had made some sort of comment. And Kyle is saying, well, you put this all out here. You made a real big issue. You made it worse for this issue with Morgan and all this and that. So that's why she was pissed at her. Dorit was mad at Kyle because of these things that she said, making it seem like their friendship wasn't as deep as Dorit thought it was. Like, Dorit was more invested, obviously, than Kyle. I'm going to tell you, I said this before. I don't believe that those two are deep, deep friends, or good friends. I thought that they were friends because PK and Mo are really good friends. That's what I thought. I thought that this season. And what did Kyle say? Kyle basically said that. She was like, listen, we hung out because PK and Mauricio were such good friends, but how many times did we hang out when there weren't cameras? Dorit didn't answer. So apparently when there weren't cameras, they didn't hang out a lot. It wasn't real. It wasn't a real friendship. And Kyle is saying it's not, you know, we didn't hang out whenever cameras weren't filming. We didn't go away that much and blah, 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 this and that. But then she turns around and says, but I love you. But I love you. I love you so much. I love you. That right there, that's her trying to manipulate you. I doubt that. Yeah, I love you very much. I care about you. I love you very much. But we're not good friends. Well, then why are you saying that? That is manipulation. So next is Garcelle's package. They're talking to Garcelle. So obviously if they're talking to Garcelle, then the issue with Dorit comes up. I'm getting tired of it. I don't say I'm getting tired of it, but I kind of am. She says to Dorit, so this whole deal about attacking, the use of the word attack comes up again. And she had said to Dorit, I think it's crazy that you're going to say that I attacked you whenever you were actually attacked, but you're going to say I attacked you. And then 8.5 jumps in and says, and brings up this example of when they were at the party. It was at Sutton's. It was at Sutton's store. And they were talking about her esophagus. And Sutton had said something like, why are you yelling at me? You don't need to yell at me. And I think Anne-Marie, I don't know if she had said, if I remember correctly, I think she might have said, I'm sorry if I'm yelling, but she made the point, she brought that up to say, well, listen, your friend Sutton had accused me of yelling at her and being angry with her, and the only person that stood up for me was this one right here, which is Little Red Riding Hood, which is Dorit. I called her that because, listen, we're going to talk about the fashions. We're going to talk about the fashions after this. So I kind of understood where she was coming from. However, I believe that in the flashback, I believe that Anne-Marie, that 8.5, had said something. I don't think that she said, I'm not yelling. But anyways, I mean, I can understand where she's coming from with that, though. And then Garcelle had brought up the fact, she said, well, then you double down and you put up on Instagram this post that said, I'm living in a bubble. And Dorit, of course, was like, well, that is not what I meant by it. But then she once again put another one out there and said, I mean, I'm living in my love bubble. Listen, I don't buy that you're living in your love bubble. I mean, your husband is hardly ever in the country. but you're living in your love bubble and you were having troubles. No, even Andy was like, it looks a little suspicious when you didn't take that first one down. You just kept it up. I'm going to tell you, this right here just shows how clueless and just how unaware Dorit is of things in the real world. It's just, I just don't understand it. She knew what she was doing with that first IG post. She really did. And also in this package with Garcelle, they showed that video from last season when Mo and PK and Dorit and Kyle were laughing, we're yucking it up, and we're laughing about Erica cussing at Jack. Was it Jack's? Cussing at Garcelle's 14-year-old son. Like it was just so funny and so like, there is never going to be a time when that video doesn't piss me off. Okay, so getting into 8.5's package. 8.5, listen, 8.5, your husband says you're 8.5 at everything. Your body isn't a 10, your brain isn't a 10, nothing on you is a 10. You're 8.5. She thinks it's hilarious. She's like, it's a joke that we make. None of the ladies thought it was complimentary. None of them would. And after seeing her husband, should her husband even get an 8.5? She's like, I give my husband an 8.5. Listen, if I was married and my husband gave me an 8.5, I'd be like, you son of a bitch, guess what I'm giving you? 5, 4. That's what I'm giving you. 4, 4.5. That's it. So her package comes up, and this is when her and Crystal go back and forth because they decided to be friends. Now, not so much. So she said of meeting Kristen, Crystal was awesome off camera, but then as soon as they turned on, she was different. And Crystal, they're going back and forth. Crystal says, when they were talking about, Crystal said that she said she was a doctor and she wasn't truthful in when she said what her profession was. Crystal said the thing that she's upset about is the fact that 8.5 weaponized Sutton's medical problem with her esophagus. She weaponized it against her. She did not like that. She obviously really didn't like the fact that that 8.5 was kind of intimating that Sutton had an eating disorder, which Sutton was like, I don't. And Sutton, what Sutton said, the thing that Sutton really hated was the fact that, sure, 8.5 said all this stuff about her esophagus, but then behind the scenes and to everybody else, she talked all up and down and all over town about her esophagus. She didn't like that. 8.5 apologized. She watched it back. She said she hated watching it back because she didn't like how she came off with that, and she apologized. This is going to be something that you were not expecting, but I don't know. I kind of bought it, and I think she had to apologize because, you know, the association that governs nurse anesthetist, I can't say that, I don't know that anybody can, the body that governs them came out hard against her and her behavior. So I think that's why she said that. So next was the package on Crystal. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. This part just made me so sad for Crystal. She said that she doesn't speak up a lot because a lot of the times she is just silently wishing that she could just be as thin as everybody else is. I'm going to tell you what, if I could be built like anybody in that cast, I would probably want to be built like Crystal. I don't see anything wrong with Crystal's shape, but you know what? It's her it's how your mind operates when you have this ED. You're always comparing yourself to others, and you're never going to be slim enough. And I felt bad for her. I felt really bad for her. I'm going to tell you what I was living for. I was living for Crystal, because Crystal came and ate. She put her plates, her place set down. She got her bib on. She got ready to eat, and she came for Dorit, because Dorit deserved it, because Crystal called her out for that child bride comment, where she was like, we are while you were out getting married at 12 years old as a child bride, we were out getting educated and starting families and building companies. Please educate me, Dorit, on how much business Beverly Beach is doing. Because I know that coconut water, what's that worth? $100 million? So she says to Dorit, she says, listen, this I did not appreciate this comment about me being 12 years old and being a child bride. She says that is not something that you say about an Asian, because saying that an Asian woman is a child bride just has the same connotations as a mail order bride. Here comes Dorit. Well, they called Priscilla Presley a mail order, or called Priscilla Presley a child bride. That's not the same thing. That's not, no, it's not the same thing. It's really not the same thing, because guess what? There's two different things here. Here's Crystal. She's Asian. She's of Asian descent. Here's Priscilla Presley. She's not the same thing. Plus, listen, Crystal, when she was married, she was 24. Priscilla Presley, she was young. She was like teens. She was young. So, not the same. Not even remotely the same. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when you see that right there, and you hear that she says that's what I'm talking. She don't know what she has no idea. She just throws stuff out. She doesn't know. She says, well, I was unaware, but now I know. Of course, you're unaware. You're never educated. And then you make some shit, and then you put your foot in your mouth and you claim you didn't know, because you don't ever know. So yeah, that's that right there. I don't know how much longer. I don't know how much longer they're gonna keep her on the show. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's just kind of embarrassing. But then didn't Crystal was like, by the way, when I educated myself and I built a company, it is worth $100 million now. As opposed to owing $100 million, my company brings in $100 million. And listen, I'm going to tell you, if I liked the taste of coconut water, I would buy her coconut water just for spite, to spite Dorito. I don't like the taste of it though, so I will not be buying it. Next was Kyle. This was the last thing. Kyle, she said something about, trust me, I don't want to do the splits or the helicopter hair. Trust me, I don't want you to do the helicopter hair and the splits. I got tired of that. I don't want to. I'm going to speak for everybody else in Bravo Nation. Nobody wants to see your helicopter hair. Nobody wants to see your splits. It's boring turd. It's boring. As Peter Bond would say, it's a bore turd. You're a boring turd. Helicopter hair and the splits. There was one thing though I did not like. I do love Sutton, but seriously, when they were looking at her tattoos, she was showing Sutton her tattoos, and she was like, "Are you getting ready for prison because of that tattoos?" Sutton, no, that's not. That's not. No, I don't like that, Sutton. Clean that up. And then it was back again to Dorit and Kyle, and it was talk about Kathy. And like I said, this divide between Kyle and Dorit started during last season's reunion, when Dorit kind of like inserted herself in the middle of the discussion and kind of took Kathy's side a little bit. Kyle did not like that, because Kyle was like, we've been friends longer, and now all of a sudden you're friends. We've been friends longer. Now all of a sudden they're great friends. They're such close friends. I thought before you said you weren't that close. And Kyle is saying, listen, the reason why you stood up for Kathy is because it's what the audience wanted. The audience was pretty much fully behind Kathy last year. She was a hot commodity, so that's why you stood up for her, and that's why you took her side. And Dorit, of course, was like, that is literally insane. You're going crazy. That's so unhinged. So I don't know. Maybe that's the reason why they bring Kathy in to like, I'm thinking they bring Kathy in just to like talk about what the status is of their relationship as sisters. Like, are they good as sisters? Do they have a strong relationship? And maybe to talk about the split with Mauricio. I can't see any other reason to bring her in. But this episode, I mean, the first episode of any reunion for me is never super over the top. You get your real meat and your real heat and your real drama in like the second and the third. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. There have been some filings in the Bravo sphere. It looks like Andy is getting sued. Andy's getting sued by Lee McSweeney. She was on Real Housewives of New York for 2 seasons. He's being sued by her. Apparently, she alleges that he I don't know that he makes housewives do drugs with him, but I guess if you don't, then apparently you don't get a good edit or something. So I don't know. I'm gonna read up on it, and Brandi Glanville's coming for him too. So I'm gonna read up on that. We're gonna talk about that in another video. But if you watched last night, please let me know in the comments what you thought of it. And with that being said, if nobody told you yet today, I love you. You're loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, positivity, and all that good stuff out there so it can come back at you. And please take care of one another. And number 1, what do I always say? Number 1, be aware of your surroundings. Number 2, please be safe. And I'm going to I will see you tomorrow, because it's the leap year, it's the leap day. So it's the last day of this month, and we're going to be heading into a new month tomorrow. So I will see you guys tomorrow for the weekend. Bye guys. Love you.